morning, everyone. I want to say thank you to Councilman Hines as I sit here and look back. When I first became the city's first housing director back in 2004, I really didn't know exactly what we were going to get into. We didn't have a housing office prior to that. We really focused on running housing programs, but in terms of taking neighborhood plans and converting them into action was something that we decided to be more intentional and deliberate about, and I'm really pleased with that. My first project that I received was this property right here behind the police station, and at the time the redevelopment commission owned it. It had been part of the tire fire of '97, and the project was to go build 24 to 36 units on that site, and I'm pleased to say that we quickly went back to the plans for that neighborhood. We listened in 2000 when the neighborhood said, we want home ownership. Got involved with then Bertha Rogers, Mary Turner, and at that time started to look at not that site, but the site around it to figure out what do we want to do with all of this vacant property. Today, I've spent the last 4 years coming before this group, and I'm always excited to come and share the new things that we've done. 2008 was a really awesome year because we wrapped up our promise. When we first walked into this, I think that was the #1 goal, was to prove to the neighborhood and to the community that what we said we would do, we would do. And in 2004, we wrapped up a $4 million infrastructure development project just a block or so up the street that actually has new signage, new street lights, new alleys, new streets, sidewalks, new infrastructure under the ground that you can't see, and better stormwater detention. That was wonderful. Toward the end of 2008, I would be remiss, first of all, if I didn't mention the fact that this is the city's only housing tax increment financing district. It is the first of its type, and with the help of our legislature and with Moses, we were able to actually put that in place. If we did not have the tax increment financing mechanism, we would not have been able to do this $4 million investment. So having a $4 million infrastructure program is wonderful, but we also completed another 25 homeowner rehabs. And as you drive up and down the street, you see the changes, that you can't tell the difference between a newly constructed home versus an existing owner-occupied home. The front porches are going back on. We saw many, many more commitments from neighborhood residents who maybe didn't need our money. Their permits being pulled that we didn't, on projects we didn't fund. That's great. I was a little apprehensive to come today because late in 2008, I was approached by someone that we would think in normal terms, you put infrastructure in, you're going to get development. You're going to get people wanting to come in and build in these neighborhoods. And that's what happened. In about November of 2008, I was approached by Granite Ridge Builders, who eventually came back with a very serious plan, and they wanted to build 50 new houses in Fort Wayne. They came with a developer by the name of Henry Hall and Chris Flick, and Henry had had his eye on Renaissance Pointe for years, had come continuously to the city wanting to develop housing in that area. Seems like a great idea, $8 million, 50 housing units, 50 rooftops. They came with 3 builders, not just Granite Ridge, but Ideal and Lancia, who were saying, well, a few months ago, we had people wanting to live in Renaissance Pointe who were bankable. And at the time that they were bankable, they came through and they looked at Renaissance Pointe and they said, we want to live here. But as the credit market started tightening and the crunch came down, those same families were not eligible to get their bank loans and live in Renaissance Pointe. So we want to serve a broader population. And that population would have higher incomes than the average income in Renaissance Pointe. The rents would be higher rents than are currently offered in Renaissance Pointe. The units would look exactly like the houses that are currently being built by those same builders in Renaissance Pointe. So this is December. The application's due in January. We have a history of planning with and not for neighborhoods. Tony Ridley and I have worked together for now 4 years on getting this development together. Gladly. What we heard, though, in this process were grumblings that this might not be acceptable because it has pieces and parts that haven't been brought to the community. And there is a community meeting that's required, and so at the time Our mayor, deputy mayor, my boss, John Bonds, and I talked. And we said, okay, Heather, you're gonna go to the public meeting. You never do this, but you're going to this public meeting because we need to know what the community feels. What are they feeling? How does this make them feel? I went to the community meeting and found I was the lightning rod. Why is the city bringing this project to our community? Why would the city give up on the home ownership initiative and bring this project? Why now? Let it have some more time. Homeowners that just bought there feeling betrayed by the city. This is a development that was brought to the city for our consideration. As I said, it had several principles that it actually addressed as part of that. But ultimately, at the Southeast Strategy, I heard loud and clear, this is not what the community wants. Mayor Henry, Deputy Mayor Purcell, John Bonds, myself, Sharice Dixie, we're committed to this neighborhood. We're committed to things happening with the neighborhood, not planning for the neighborhood, not doing things to the neighborhood. And so I'm pleased to tell you today that yes, this neighborhood is desirable. You've got homeowners who want to live here. You've got developers who want to bring their money and invest it here as opposed to somewhere else. But if this is not what the neighborhood wants, we're committed to withdrawing our support in order to support the neighborhood first. So with that, we have petitioned the state to remove our support. There is a letter and an announcement and process to make it clear to the state that when a developer wants to work in our community, they need to engage harmoniously with the neighborhoods. And that when the mayor says our goal is high performance, pro-investment, and engagement, it's a three-legged stool. Here we had high performance, pro-investment, but we didn't have the engagement. And so that developer is aware and will be on his way.